Welcome to HCS Talks. I'm your host, Superintendent Raymond Haynes. This is our Hampton City Schools podcast that we started at the end of August. If it is important to students, parents, teachers, or the community, we hope to cover it on HCS Talks. The goal is to inform, educate, and entertain you. So we hope you will stay tuned and keep listening. Today I am here with Miss Tyrishia Howard, who was one of our high school German teachers, and Mr. Dwight Sawyers, who was one of our social studies teachers at Lindsay Middle School. Both are also graduates of Hampton City Schools and were a part of the 2014 Gear Up cohort. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Gear Up, it is actually a program funded by a federal grant that is designed to increase the number of students who are prepared to enter and succeed in post-secondary education. Hampton City Schools participated in Gear Up from 2008 to 2014, in which Ms. Howard and Mr. Sawyers participated in as students. We are happy to share that Hampton City Schools was again awarded the grant and currently have students participating in this program. So thank you for being here, Ms. Howard and Mr. Sawyers. And before we talk more about Gear Up and your experiences when you were a student, let's tell the listening audience a little bit about yourself. We can start with you, Ms. Howard.
Well, my name is Tyrishia Howard. I graduated from Hampton High School, and I went on to St. Leo University, where I graduated with my Master's of Science in Human Service Administration. I initially started out working in foster care and adoption because I always knew that I wanted to work with children. I was always the one who wanted to play with the kids, babysit, hold babies. So I knew when I graduated that I wanted to do something working with children. So I got into foster care and adoption. And then I switched over to teaching, where I started out at working at daycares while I was finishing my master's degree. And then I came into teaching for Hampton City Schools.
So you graduated from the Hampton High School, a proud crabber.
Yes.
So now you are a German teacher?
Yes.
How did you go from foster care to being a foreign language teacher?
Initially when I graduated, I knew I wanted to work with kids. And so I was really big on working with people in need. And so I got into foster care, and once I got into that, I was like, oh, this is traumatizing. This is so sad. And then I adopted a baby, and I was like,
oh, you did?
Yes. And then I was like, okay, so I adopted a baby. I cannot come home with a child every year. So I'm going to do the next best thing, which I was always into, especially when I started working in daycare. I opened up my own daycare, and then I ended up getting sick, and I was like, okay, well, I can't work with the littles anymore.
You had your own daycare?
Yes, I opened up a daycare.
Where, in Hampton?
In Newport News.
Newport News? Okay.
Yes.
You adopted a baby at what age?
Newborn. She was born 2 days before my 23rd birthday.
How old is she now?
She is now 5.
5 years old.
Yes.
All right. So you said you had to get out of there before you adopted one every year.
Because that's what was going to happen every year.
So after that, you went back and got some certification, or what happened? What were your next steps?
So I went back. I was actually getting my master's in the process of adopting baby girl. And that's when I really started getting into, as far as working in the daycare, having to do my own curriculums and having to actually teach. I was like, okay, I really like doing this. And then I came down with an illness, and I couldn't work with the little population anymore. And I was like, okay, well, I know a lot about Hampton City Schools, so I guess I'll just press my luck with the teacher shortage. I'll definitely just try to get in there. Initially, I wanted to do elementary education. And so then when I reached out to get my transcript evaluation, they were like, well, your resume says you speak fluent German, and we have a position open. And I was like, yes, I will do it. I will apply because that's where I'm from. And so I'm really big on Germany, and I didn't know that they offered German until I talked to them about my transcripts.
You still have family in Germany?
Yes, I do. I go every year.
Every year. Wow. So you teach German at more than one high school? Or?
I teach at Hampton and Lindsay.
Hampton and Lindsay?
Yes.
Okay. I remember when I was at Kickingham, when I was principal there, we had German classes there as well. I don't know how many high schools were offering it in. So I would imagine you are a commodity, and we thank you for choosing Hampton City Schools as your place of employment. Yes, ma'am. So, Mr. Sawyers.
Yes, sir.
Tell the listening audience a little bit about yourself as well, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Dwight Sawyers. I grew up in the Hampton Roads area. Went to several elementary schools, between Booker Elementary to Bassett Elementary to Burbank Elementary. Then from there I went to Eaton Middle School, and from there I went on to Hampton High School. Graduated from there in 2014. From there I went on to Thomas Nelson Community College. I did their 2-2 program, in which afterwards I was accepted to Old Dominion University, in which I have my bachelor's in history with a minor in political science.
Wow. Bachelor's in history and minor in political science. So you are also a crabber from the Hampton High School. For the listening audience, Mr. Sawyers, and just for full disclosure, he was a student of mine when I was principal at Booker Elementary School, which is now Patrick Elementary School. Yes, sir. It's not Booker anymore. It's Albert Patrick Elementary School. And also for the listening audience, I'm a little envious of Mr. Sawyers because I can remember when he was an elementary student, and he now has a full beard of which I cannot grow. I can only grow a little bit of hair on my chin, and that's about it. But Mr. Sawyers is sitting in front of me with a full beard that wraps around and connects, something I can't do. So I'm a little envious, sir. So you went to, which is now also, I know you know this, but Thomas Nelson is now Virginia Peninsula Community College. So
yes, sir.
You were there for 2 years and then went on to get your degree from Old Dominion University with a bachelor's in history. So what are you currently doing now for Hampton City Schools?
I'm currently the 8th grade civics and economics teacher at Lindsay Middle School.
Lindsay Middle School, home of the Lions. So this is your first year?
This is my first year
How's your
teaching.
experience thus far?
It has been a journey, to say the least. It has been a journey, but as I tell my students all the time, I'm here for them.
Right.
I'm truly here for you guys. I truly care. And throughout the past semester, because we just started the second semester today, it has been a progress, but any progress is progress, and I tell them that every day. And I make sure that they know that I'm there for them all the time. And even outside of my specific grade that I teach, civics, or the subject that I teach, civics, if they need anything in any other aspects, I'm here for them. Just ask me.
And we know, Ms. Howard and Mr. Sawyers, we know that relationships are key to everything that we do. And establishing that relationship and rapport with young people, once you connect with them like that, it won't be anything they will not do for you. And they will want to perform at the highest levels just based on that connection.
Yes, sir.
Looking at you, I'm just so proud of you, sir, because I remember when you had 4 and 5 and 6 and running up and down the halls. I have 2 crabbers sitting here with me who have chosen to come back and chose Hampton City Schools as their place of employment. So we know one of the most important features of Gear Up is that it helps students transition from middle to high school. Tell me about your experience with this transition and how it was helpful for you.
For me,
yes,
being in in middle school, I went to Lindsay, and I was one of those ones, class clown, loud, but once I hit 8th grade, high school humbled me. I was like, wait, I have to go to the big kids.
Right.
So I was terrified. I did not talk. I was like, nope, I don't want to do this. There's too many people here. Can
you recall how Gear Up may have helped you with some of this anxiety that you had?
Yeah. So being able to talk to people like Dr. Oliver, like, hey, I'm so nervous, I'm terrified, and having somebody that was able to give us that advice. We were pulled out in smaller groups, so that helped me a lot. And just being able to lean on them for support. Because when I say I was terrified, I was like, I had two sisters there with me, but they were already comfortable. They were older than me. So they were like, we're not babysitting. They were doing their own thing. And I was like, please just walk me to class. But being able to go down into the Gear Up area and talk to them, having them help me, find classes, not just as far as college advice, but just being able to lean on them for support, I was like, okay, this is great. I needed this.
That is fantastic. Mr. Sawyers, how about you? Gear Up in your transition from middle to high school, how was that process for you, and how did Gear Up help in supporting that transition?
So as far as Gear Up in middle school, I did not go to Lindsay. I went to Eaton. Mm-hmm. So I experienced Gear Up once I got to Hampton High School.
Okay.
And it was a tremendous help because I was in the pre-IB program, and I hid the piece of mail from my parents that said that I was accepted into the pre-IB program.
Why did you hide it, sir?
Because I wanted to relax in high school. I did not want to do that much work. And the first 2 years of high school, without Gear Up, it would have been very, very difficult. Without that support system behind it. Because, yes, I could say I was smart, but the International Baccalaureate program is different. And so with that support from Ms. Oliver, it truly helped in those pre-IB years. Yes, sir.
Outstanding. And two of you keep mentioning Dr. Jennifer Oliver. She was very instrumental in working with Gear Up back then. She is now Hampton City Schools Director of Community and Legislative Relations, and she's part of the Superintendent's Division Leadership Team. But she can't say enough about how much Gear Up provided that support and structure and how it has helped young people to better prepare for college, career, and life. And she oftentimes brags about the two of you and from whence you came and from where you are now. So we certainly want to thank Dr. Oliver for all of her work with Gear Up and her transitioning young people from middle to high and preparing them for life after high school as well. So think back again to your middle and high school years. What are some of the Gear Up activities that helped you decide that you wanted to pursue post-secondary education?
I think it was them bringing in like guest speakers, and then of course actually getting us the visual, like the tours of the schools. Because for me, at first I was like, once I leave high school, I'm chilling. I'm not doing nothing. But then my mom and dad, they hit me with as long as you in this house, military, work, or college. And then I ended up graduating early. And I was like, okay, I have no choice because I don't know what I'm doing in this real life. So I ended up going to college, and it just helped a lot with giving us that advice as far as how far you can go in life, with a degree, the doors that are opened up for you with certifications and different things. And I remember doing different activities as far as like mock interviews and things like that. So it definitely helped prepare me for today, because I was not the person that I am right now in middle school and early high school. So it definitely
college
helped.
Visits and tours sort of kind of made it or helped it become more of a reality for you?
Yeah.
That's powerful. How about you, Mr. Sawyers?
I remember going to a college fair in Richmond, Virginia. The Gear Up took us there, and I remember we all brought our transcripts, portfolios, and then we made those prior to going. And I remember giving my portfolio to Virginia Union and being accepted in the next minute.
Wow.
I remember giving it to Norfolk State University, being accepted just at the fair alone.
Right.
And it gave me hope towards going to college a little bit more. And it prepared me for the dual enrollment program, in which I was in my my junior and senior year of high school.
So you chose, I know you had several offers for different four-year universities, but you chose, and folks don't realize this is a wise choice too. You chose to go to the community college for 2 years and then do the 2+2 program. I'm sure saving your parents a lot of money.
Quite some money, yes, sir.
So talk about your experience with that and the advantages of the 2+2 program.
The advantages of the 2+2 program was amazing at first. It was an experience, nonetheless. Being able to complete my entire year of complete my entire senior year in the first semester, and then go on to Thomas Nelson for the second semester, it really got us prepared for college.
Right. And then transitioning to that 4-year college, it was
very smooth. Yes, sir.
You only had to do 2 more years at Old Dominion University.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And saving your parents a whole lot of money.
A whole lot of money. And I can still drive over to Old Dominion University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what are the effects of Gear Up on student preparation for college? Well, how do you think that impacted you in terms of your being prepared for college and your experience with Gear Up?
It definitely built confidence. For me, I'm a person that worries a lot. So like, what's going to happen next? So initially I was very stressed out, nervous. Of course, coming from middle school to high school, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And then going from high school to college into the real world, I was initially oh, it's getting real. But again, having the Gear Up team to talk to, and it's pretty much they gave us a visual of don't be scared. This is how it's going to be. They prepared us for, you don't have anybody babysitting you. So if a professor says this is due, it needs to be turned in. So it definitely prepared me. And it built that confidence okay, I can do this. I got through high school. I can get through college. So it made it a lot easier and calmed my nerves.
It was quite the opposite for us. I reached out to Miss Oliver all the time. Please help us. Please.
But you knew she was there.
Oh, I knew she was there. So there was always a great safety net.
Right.
Because though it helped, it was still a very vast, different experience. Because just one day you're in high school and now you're in college with people who have several jobs and children and different varying ages.
Yep.
Wow. So I know that Gear Up also does help in terms of getting families engaged. So you can share with us how this helped you or your peers' family engagement too. So just from the family engagement aspect, can you speak a little bit about that?
So as far as, I know some of us, I had a cousin who was also in Gear Up. And for us, our, parents at the time didn't go to college. My dad, he went straight to the military. My mom, she didn't go to college at the time. She actually ended up going with me to St. Leo University. Wow. So we graduated together. I think
beautiful.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So I think with me coming home with all the information from Gear Up, and explaining to her, this is what we talk about. This is what I could possibly be doing. And then it wasn't just college readiness. It was also, scholarships, different things like that, options that were out there. So coming home, I think it kind of opened up that gateway for my relationship with my mother, and she was like, okay, well, and it, she ended up going as well. So I think it definitely helped make relationships stronger. And then also that insight, because my mom came from Germany, so it wasn't really a big thing to go to college.
Right.
So having that information to be able to pass along, that's when I think the excitement set in. Okay, we have all this information. Let's see what we can do.
Does she speak fluent German too?
Fluent German.
The whole house does?
Everybody but my dad.
That's a powerful story, Miss Howard. I did not know that your mom, you all attended college together. Did you major in the same thing?
No, she did criminal justice.
All right. How about for you, Mr. Sawyers?
Because of my mother, she set such a standard in the household with her master's degree. I knew that college was going to be my avenue past high school. So bringing the information back from high school with Gear Up, we would know that, okay, these are the deadlines for applications. These are the scores that are needed for certain schools. And I knew myself, I was a very strong reader. Even from Eton Middle School, I remembered the accelerated reading program. Yes. I needed to be number one. I remember the first quarter of 6th grade, I needed to be number 1.
Yes.
And from then, I developed such a relationship with reading, but I wasn't the strongest writer. And I knew that in order to get to the next level, post-secondary education, I needed to strengthen that. So I would come home, and she would help me with my writing. I would then go back with Miss Oliver. She would help me with my writing. I would even go to my favorite history teacher, because, of course, I teach history, Mr. Barkley, who is now a principal at Mary Peak. He would help me with these assignments just so that I can make sure I get to the next level, and that's not without Gear Up.
Mr. Barkley was there. Mr. Harris was there, too.
Yes, Dr. Harris, right.
So he's now Dr. Harris, but they were both social studies teachers during... You all were there at the same time, right?
Yes.
During your time at Hampton High School.
Yes, sir. Mr. Barkley taught me government, and he was actually the first one that sparked that interest in history. And so he's been him and Dr. Oliver have been great mentors into getting me into Hampton City
You go back
Schools.
and see Mr. Barkley over at, I think he's at Machen. Have you gone to see him over there?
I have not seen him then, but when I was in college, I did a lot of substituting and long-term subbing, and I would reach out to him. And he says, "Great, I'll come over to Andrews, and I have something for you."
Right.
And every day I would try to pick a little piece of information from him every single day.
Nice. Ms. Howard, did you have either Dr. Harris or Mr. Barkley?
No.
Over at Hampton High?
I did not.
All right. So students who participate in Gear Up, which I know we're talking a lot about Gear Up, and we had it from 2008 to 2014. We now have it again. So this freshman class was at Phoebus Hampton Bethel and Kickerton. They were in Gear Up since, I think, their 7th grade year. So
That's great.
They will benefit from all Gear Up has to offer as well. So students who participate in Gear Up and then go on to college certainly have different goals and career plans. Both of you obviously majored, well, not necessarily, are now educators and are now teachers. So why was this your career choice?
Like I said, I've always known I wanted to do something working with children. My favorite aunt, is also a teacher for Hampton City Schools. And so growing up, I used to always follow her around when she would come home and she would be grading papers. I'm like, I know I want to do that. I know I want to do that. And so again, when I got into daycare while I was in college, I just knew I want to teach. But I was also so big on foster care and adoption. So I told my aunt, I was like, I'm just going to try it. I'm going to try it. And she was like, I know that's not what you want to do. You're not going to like it. And I was like, I'm going to try it. And then,
But you did like it. You just knew that you were going to adopt a kid every day.
That, and then with the trauma, it was so much. Like to go home, thinking about, yes. And so, again, once I got sick, I was like, okay, perfect time. And there's a teacher shortage. Okay. So let's do this. And so I just went to teaching, but I've always known I was that sister. Everybody sit down, we're playing school, and I'm the teacher.
Wow. And you say your aunt teaches in the system. What school?
She's at Andrews.
All right. What does she teach?
English.
So, Mr. Sawyers, why was education your career choice? Did Gear Up help to sort of kind of shape that decision?
Even prior to Gear Up. So I want to say I started in 6th grade. I've been teaching karate for the last 15 years going on. And so being in a classroom setting, I've been engulfed in that for well over a decade. So those skills that I learned from karate really helped me transition into the classroom. So that small group settings, that differentiated learning, understanding that, okay, this kid might not learn like this. Well, let me change it up. And okay, now he'll understand it. Understand that there's a curriculum and there's a pacing. Right. There's a timeline. We need to make sure that these kids test on time. I was doing that well before teaching.
Right. And
so there were plenty of times when I was subbing and teachers would come into the classroom and say, hey, is everything okay? You're very loud. I'm used to having my voice loud to command a dojo full of 30 children.
Right.
So 15 students, I'm sorry, I need to bring it down some. But that's really where it fostered that learning, that helping the community, that making sure that these connections with these families and these students and well beyond karate.
Right.
So just like I was speaking with history, like well beyond history, you can ask me anything. I can try to help in any situation. So even it's crazy how you have teachers who speak of, oh, I ran into my first grader that I had 20 years ago, or how you speak of when I was that first grader at Booker, or when I was that 12-year-old in Eaton Middle School.
Yes.
I now have 15 and 17-year-olds coming up and saying, hey, you used to teach me.
Right.
I'm like, oh, hi. And so it's
Do
such
you remember their names like I remember yours?
No, I'm not. I tell them I'm not good with names.
So your memory is not as sharp as your former principal.
It's not. Too many children. But those skills that I learned teaching karate helped transition into teaching in schools, Hampton City Schools, and then now teaching in Hampton City Schools and all these the rules and regulations, and you really get the little minute details of teaching, and that what you learn from your assistant principal and your principal and other factions that Hampton City Schools has for first year teachers.
That's
Yes.
outlined for you to sort of kind of use as your guide and playbook.
That now helps with teaching karate even more. I can bring back, it's almost a full circle of me being able to, be the best educator that I can be.
Nice. Are you still teaching karate?
Yes, sir. I'll be there today.
All right. So we know that teaching is a noble profession, and I certainly thank you, like I can't say it enough, thank you for choosing Hampton City Schools as your place of employment. I recognize that teachers have options, and you could have gone anywhere. I'm in my 29th year here with Hampton City Schools, and I plan to retire in Hampton City Schools. There's no place else I'd rather be. So my question is, why did you decide to choose Hampton City Schools?
It's home. This is what I know. When we moved here in 2003 from Germany, I went to Langley Elementary School. I went on to Lindsay and Sims, and then Hampton High School. So for me, I met some of the greatest teachers. Again, my aunt works for Hampton City Schools. I have a cousin that works at Lindsay with me. So this is what I know is Hampton City Schools, and I always known seeing teachers like Dr. Oliver, Miss Hardy, Mr. Young. I had some of the best teachers, Mr. Brooks. I was like, okay, when I got into teaching, I didn't even look anywhere else. I was just like Hampton City Schools website and job openings, and that was that.
I know Miss Futrell's email like the back of my hand.
So, Mr. Sawyers, why did you choose Hampton City Schools?
Just like Ms. Howard said, it's home. It's just felt natural. And Dr. Oliver and Mr. Barkley wouldn't let me go anywhere else.
Wise decision for both of you. And we do thank you for choosing Hampton and for making such a positively tremendous impact on the lives of young people. So if you had the opportunity to speak to our current 9th grade students who are in Gear Up, what would you say to them and why?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try things. Don't be afraid to ask questions. This is it. They're getting you ready. You have the support. It's not as hard as it looks. And to just try your hardest and go for everything that you set your mind to. Nice.
Nicely stated. Mr. Sawyers?
I would say the support. That support is like no other. And what 9th graders and young adults don't quite understand yet, but past that support becomes connections. And life is about connections. I can reach out. I knew at 19 years old, 20 years old, 21 years old, I could reach out to Miss Oliver. She can direct me in certain aspects of my life because of that connection that I made in high school, because of that Gear Up connection that I made. So understanding that support is there and sticking it through and making sure to take advantage of all the opportunities that Gear Up gives out.
Oh, that support and structure that you see as lifelong. So it didn't just end when you left out of the doors of Hampton High School, and you all continue to have those connections and recognize the support that was brought to you or provided to you from Gear Up as well. So we can't say enough about the impact Gear Up has made on a lot of our young people, and you all are true testimonies to the benefits of the Gear Up program as well. Ms. Howard, you have shared that with the audience that you speak fluent German. Is there anything, some phrases or something you want to say in German before we close out?
I can do my German introduction. That's what we're working on.
Let's hear it.
Right now.
Let's hear it. Let's see if I can recognize anything you're saying. Mr.
Hallo.
Sawyer, you help me too, because let's hear it.
Okay. Hallo, ich heiße Tyrishia Howard. Ich komme aus Mannheim, Deutschland. Ich war in Deutschland seit 2003 und bin nach Amerika gekommen in der 2. Klasse. Ich arbeite jetzt für Hampton High School als die Deutschlehrerin.
I got Hampton High School.
I got Hampton High School and Deutsch 3 times. I got that.
That's 3. Well, you did better than me. That was impressive.
Thank you.
So you can just hold an entire conversation in German. Your entire household, other than your father.
Yes, but my sisters, they are losing their German. They don't go nearly as much as me. And I still have my best friend over there from diapers. So we talk every single day. She also has a daughter. She was pregnant when I was adopting my baby. And so we talk every single day. And like I said, I go Christmas, summer break, any chance I get, I'm packing up and I go.
Nice. So I'm going to ask you this, and you can be upfront, or because your father may be listening at some point. Do you all sometimes talk about him in German just because you know he won't understand it?
No, I'm a daddy's girl.
Well, you could be saying nice things.
I don't play about my dad.
Very good. Before we close on, anything else you'd like to share with the listening audience, Mr. Sawyers or Ms. Howard?
Just bringing back Gear Up is like one of the best things y'all could have done.
Yes,
I'm
Gear Up
very
was great.
excited for the next crew.
Nice. And I think it would be beneficial for you all to talk to the young people.
I would love to.
I
do
would
that.
love to.
Experiences and the impact Gear Up has made on you all as well. Nothing like having those testimonials, and you all are still young and they can see themselves in you.
Right.
Yes.
This is what Gear Up has done for me and prepared me for life after high school. But certainly thank you, Ms. Howard and Mr. Sawyers, for
It was my
taking time
pleasure.
from your day to sit down with me.
Yes, sir.
First.
Gear Up is one of the programs Hampton City Schools participates in to ensure our students are college, career, and life ready. As you know, we are proud of your accomplishments and that you are a part of our great team of educators. Thank you again for choosing Hampton. You have grown from a student who we supported to now one of our high-quality teachers and educators who supports our young people. And we know that is indeed an exciting transformation. And to our listeners, remember, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. As one community, one transformation, we will ensure academic excellence for every child, every day, whatever it takes. We will catch you next time.
Listen to learn more about Hampton City Schools. New episodes of HCS Talks drop on Thursdays. Subscribe and listen to HCS Talks. HCS Talks is a Hampton City Schools production.